Welcome to the Four Listeners Program. Welcome aboard, everybody. Thanks for checking us out this week. On the mics, we have the Z-Man. What is up, Z?
You ain't nothing but a hoochie mama. Hood rat, hoochie mama. You ain't nothing but a hoochie mama. Hood rat, hoochie mama.
I like that. I like the call-outs. That's a nice job by you, sir.
Thanks, sir.
There you go. On the other mic, sitting in for the illustrious Corey G this week is Morgan. Welcome to the show, Morgan.
Hello, guys.
Thanks for helping us out this week.
Good. Glad to be here.
All right. What up, everybody? I'm Spear. This week, something must be done about what? What am I saying here? Something must be done about...
You know, I'm not even sure how to approach this one.
You want to call it Snooty Hot
We
Chicks?
don't want to dissuade this. Is that the right word? Dissuade? Because we want to promote the hoochiness of it, but we just don't want the offense. We don't want to be offended or feel ashamed.
Right. So why don't we just say that the chicks that get offended are snooty, and we'll just call them snooty chicks. Snooty chicks.
Are they snooty?
Snooty chicks. Snooty hot chicks.
Morgan?
I think maybe you could use the word hoochie to describe what someone who gets dressed up. Like, you can't. Not all hot chicks are going to be like this, right? So you kind of have to be a little more descriptive. Like, I don't know.
Whores.
There you go. I'm glad you said it because I couldn't even. So where's this topic came from? If you haven't heard it, last week we did a live show where all three of us for the first time were actually in the same room. It was momentous. Zeth finally got to meet Corey. It was a very, very big deal. On the way after the show, on the way to a poker game, Zeth and I were talking about all the dating that Zeth does. And you made an interesting observation, Zeth. Do you remember what your observation was?
The comments was on these dates that you'd go on these dates, and a lot of times it would be the first date that the girl would be wearing a low cut shirt and showing off the breasticles, and you're trying to look the person in the face. You're trying to be a polite gentleman. You're trying to have thoughtful and meaningful conversation, but all you really want to do is stare at them. You want to get a big old eyeful, and you can't do that unless you can have her distract her by having her look somewhere else, just so you can kind of get that that good eyeful there, just to last you for a little longer. And even if you've seen them 100 times, you still want to see them again.
All right, look, I call bullshit. Okay, I call bullshit, and I call bullshit on the ladies. I'm sorry. If you are wearing a push-up bra with a low-cut top, and you are presenting what did you call them?
Breasticles.
Well, all right. If you're presenting the breasticles, and I can't even believe I just said that out loud, but if you're
I like that word.
If you're presenting them, then they're there to be looked at. I mean, what other reason are you doing that for? You're doing that so that they can be presented and they can be looked at and admired and noticed.
Yeah, it's not like it's like the Smithsonian where they have this collection of amazing works of art and they just throw them in the basement.
Right.
It's more of a community museum.
Exactly.
Where they have everything out that they want you to see, because that's all they have.
Exactly. All right. So Morgan, you have.
I have no idea what that analogy was.
All right, we're just gonna go with it.
Sure did not.
We're gonna go. We're gonna go with it.
Keep going.
So Morgan, you have boobs.
Yes.
And
I believe she has two. I've seen them both.
Okay, so you have boobs.
Not uncovered, but I've seen that she does indeed have two.
They're on display occasionally.
All right. So when you put them on display, what is the purpose? Let me ask a question a little bit more plainly. What is the purpose of cleavage?
Well, frankly, I'm sort of amazed over and over again how much guys love it.
Oh, here we go.
But I will use your words. I think that on a date, in that type of a scenario, when they're on display, the girl does want them to be admired and noticed. She just doesn't want them to be ogled. There's a difference between that. What? You can catch a glance. Even if she saw your eye move a little bit, that'd be okay. But blankly staring at them to the point where you cannot hold a conversation, that's uncalled for over the dinner table.
I have to ask you this: Is there a point if you're saying that you're surprised by how men react or how men continue to react to the breasticles? Again, I said it, and I want to beat myself over the head. But if you're surprised, then why would you continue to play them up? Why wouldn't you dress down a little bit and kind of what's the word? Play them down or de-emphasize them.
Well, you want to use what you got, and I know the guys are going to look at them, so you want to use that to your advantage. But I will say that, in my experience dating, and I used to be a pretty big dater, I would save a more provocative outfit for a second date. I wouldn't necessarily cover them up completely, but I wouldn't want to show everything on the first date either.
Why?
I don't know. I mean, maybe it's that old saying, why buy the cow if you can get the milk for free? And I feel like there is some truth to people judging you by how you're dressed, and whether that's true or not, or truly reflective of your personality or your state of mind in terms of dating. You don't want to come off looking like a slut, which is what people are going to think you are, whether you are or not, if you're dressed like that.
Agreed. Now, Zeth, answer me this: if you're not staring on the first date, would you be more inclined, perhaps, to catch more of a glance or more of a peek on the second date, or perhaps the third date?
Well, depends on the girl, because if she's wearing that kind of shirt, she's probably more keen to be already getting naked by that time. So you probably have already seen them.
But see, that right there is a judgment of that kind of personality.
I said probably.
Probably, that's true. I mean, I have fairly specific rules about dates. I've broken them, absolutely, but I try to stick to them. And what I will or will not do with a guy on what number date has nothing to do with how I'm dressed.
All right. So my point is this: if I would answer my own questions to say yes, I might linger a little bit longer on a second or third date, and I might even make a comment or two just to see where it goes. The problem I'm having is that I think at that point the first impression that this woman got of me during the first date is more than likely going to be a false one if I'm acting all gentlemanly and whatever the fuck else, because that's definitely not who I am. Right?
Well, why wouldn't you be who you are?
Exactly my point. So if I'm going to be exactly who I am, I'm fucking staring at the cleavage. That's what I'm doing. I'm looking. I have to. I have a Y chromosome. I have to look. I'm genetically predisposed. That's what we do. Okay? If they're there, I'm looking. I'm sorry. I'm a pig. That's the way it is. And I would rather get called out for it on the first date and let her know that, hey, this is who I am.
Yeah. That's why I believe that you should burp loudly on your first date.
Yeah, there you go.
As a test to see if she'll come back for more.
Something like that. It's like, this is what you're going to get when you go out with me. You're going to get someone who's going to burp, and sometimes he's going to forget that he's in the company of a lady, and it's like a mating call. It's like, let it go. If it's meant to be, she'll stay.
Yeah, don't get all snooty with me on the first date. And I get it. I think there's a school of thought that says put your best foot forward. Maybe it's because I've been off the market for so long and I don't know what it's like to date anymore. But I would say fuck it. I mean, at this point, if I'm getting back into the game, it's because I'm either divorced or a widower, and I'm going back in, going fuck it. I'm going to find a girl who likes me for who I am, and we're going to have a good time with it, and that's it.
Well, I think we had mentioned in the pre warm up that there's this fine line or fine distinction between ogling and creeping.
Yeah, there's definitely a point where it gets creepy, right? Especially if you're doing it with like the eyes bulging out, a little drool in the corner of the mouth. You know what I mean? That's creepy.
Little buckwheat, like oh
yeah, right. Jaw on the floor type of thing. Those are some nice cans you got there. No, that's a little creepy.
I like them French fried potatoes.
Yeah, exactly.
Women do want the attention. They just, you have to kind of pick up the signs. If you're doing it too much, too long, or she notices and is like, adjusting her shirt or trying to pull it up a little bit, then you got to lay off. You got to just judge the situation.
So
I have seen that.
Is there
I have seen the shirt adjustment thing when I was caught staring for too long.
So you've gotten to that point. That's the first sign indicator, right? The adjustment of the shirt. The second sign indicator is the glass of wine in your face, right? Yeah.
But see, there's also a difference between how seeing how a guy reacts when you are showing off the ladies on a date versus at a club or a party where you're meeting new people and you're not there specifically with one person, because that changes things a little bit.
Okay, so I'm glad you brought this up. So there's a confident, sexy way to dress, and then there's the slutty way of dressing. right? And anybody like I'm talking about the chick wearing the push-up bra again with the low-cut blouse, or even that blouse that kind of doesn't even wear a bra. You just kind of tie it around the back like it's a ribbon, right? And then there's the mini skirt that shows like half a butt cheek, and then the 4-inch stiletto heels. The whole routine. If I'm seeing that outfit in a bar or at a club, if I'm seeing that outfit, I'm thinking two things. I'm thinking A, how much can I bet all of my buddies that chick's got a tramp stamp? And B, how much alcohol do I have to give that chick so I can put my dick in her mouth? And let me tell you something. The answer to A has a direct relation to the answer to B. That's what I'm thinking.
I suppose in general that's true. I will say I have a few friends with the tramp stamp that aren't quite so trampy, or at least they aren't now. They might have had,
They went through their
Everyone has a
tramp
phase.
period. Yeah, they went through their tramp phase.
My college years.
But I mean, is that a sign of confidence or a sign of slut?
The tramp stamp?
Well,
the
tramp stamp aside, I mean, the tramp stamp, I believe, in all cases, is a sign of slut. But the dress that I just described, the wardrobe choices that I just described, would that be out of a measure of confidence or out of a measure of sluttiness?
Well, I mean, it's going to be both. The way you describe it, obviously, it makes the girl come across as a slut, and she very well might be. Absolutely. And all women have their days or nights when they're like, fuck this, I'm going out, I'm getting wasted, and I'm hooking up with someone. And then whatever they're wearing will, help that along.
Wait,
absolutely. But
I want to stop. I'm going to stop you right there, Zeth. I have a woman on tape flat out admitting that there are times where women just want to go out and hook up. I got it.
I don't think that was that incredible.
People deny that, right? But those are specific nights. If you're not feeling that way and someone comes up and is like, can't stop staring at you, or feels like because you're dressed that way they can say things that are inappropriate or touch you inappropriately, then that's not okay.
Okay, so touching inappropriately, I agree. I completely agree. There are boundaries, and that is creepy right off the bat. No offense or buts.
What about the crowded bar? Oops, I touched your boob.
If it's clearly an oops, you can't. And if it's an oops and you keep going, that's fine. If it's an oops and you stop and all of a sudden you've got some, something to say, that makes it seem a little more planned. But again, I mean, there's also a huge caveat. It's a horrible thing to say, but is true no matter what, is that, these kinds of advances or attention, it all depends on if it's welcome or not. And if it's welcome depends on how attractive the girl thinks the guy is. And that's, it's an unfortunate truth, but it is. If someone comes up to you and does, oops, I touched your boob, and they're super hot, you'd be like, oh, it's okay.
There it is. Well, thank you, because that was my very next question. Right?
Is that the point of it then? Is to not exactly advertise that you're looking for that, but it's a nice back benefit or side benefit of wearing that you're going to get that attention, that you may get that hot guy to think it's okay to do that, where maybe normally he wouldn't be willing.
That's true. I mean, I think girls do want the attention, and it's always nice to feel flattered and wanted, even if you're not going through with anything, even if you're not looking for something specifically. I think there are plenty of women that are in relationships that, once in a while it's still nice to know that someone other than the person that you've been, sleeping with for however long finds you attractive. So obviously it's a nice thing to have. It just depends on if it's welcome or unwelcome, and that's totally a subjective reasoning.
So, all right, so that puts me in a bad spot. Right, it puts me in a bad spot, because if the judgment call as to when it's ogling versus creepy is subjective, then how am I supposed to judge when I'm being creepy? For all I know, I'm just being me, and I could be creepy. Which is probably where this conversation ends up. But I mean, I could just.
That's probably a safe assumption.
All right, fine. But how do I know? How do I know when it's time to look away? It's not like there's a buzzer. Like, it's not like when is it time? Does somebody like buzz me off or something?
I mean, if someone says something to you about it, that would be like a good indicator.
I think at that point there you have a problem.
Right, you've crossed the line.
I can't help but notice that you're staring at me uncomfortably. Please stop, or I will call the authorities.
I'm going to use that one next time it comes in need.
What, please stop or I'll call the authorities?
I'm just being very polite about it. I've noticed that you're looking at me in a creeper fashion, and I find it inappropriate.
I appreciate the compliment that you're paying me, but
However, unwelcome.
yes. Please add me to your do not call list. So here, actually, this is a question I have, and Morgan, you can probably are very qualified to answer this.
Okay.
Is it comfortable? Is it more comfortable to wear more revealing clothing than less revealing clothing?
Well, I guess
not mentally, not how you feel about yourself. Physical.
physically. Well, I guess physically it's probably more comfortable to be wearing pajamas. Absolutely. The strapless bra is not particularly comfortable.
Well, hold on. We're not going out in pajamas. Although, for some strange reason, I've seen people wearing pajamas, like wandering around the mall, and that's fucked up. But that's a different show. So you're going out to a bar, and you have the choice between choice A, which is the push-up bra, the low-cut top, the tight skirt or tight pants, or the Daisy Dukes that are showing off half your butt cheeks.
God, I love Daisy Duke.
Or, because you wear them, you fucking crazy man.
I have been known to wear them.
Or, or a t-shirt and a pair of comfortably fitting jeans. Given those two choices.
Well, personally, I would wear the second because I have what I would sometimes call my sort of go-to first date shirt, which is a t-shirt, but it's low cut. So it can show off a little bit, but it's loose fitting and comfortable, and I'll wear them with a pair of jeans and flip-flops.
So where do you come down, Zeth, on the wearing PJs out in public then?
Well, Victoria's Secret with that stupid pink line. It's that, and what's the jeggings? Is it the jeggings, the jean leggings?
I hate those.
I have heard of these. I've never seen them.
I've seen them in the wild. They're hard to identify because they really do look like jeans until you get really close to it, and you can tell that something just doesn't look right.
Exactly. Something doesn't look right.
And it's I don't get how that is okay to wear around town. It's like, why don't you just put sweatpants on? That's what they are. They're sweatpants.
That have like a denim type of pattern. And
yeah.
and what? It looks like they have belt hoops and pockets.
Right. They have yellow. It's probably silk screened thread lines on the butt area, so it looks like it's jeans pockets.
Sort of terrible. I guess it's still trying to look form-fitting and attractive, but having the comfortable material that true jeans don't necessarily have, I guess.
The one thing I
don't
have
understand.
The one thing I have not seen, which is probably a good thing, is I don't think they make jeggings as big as they make spandex. And I think there should be rules on sizes like that. Like, you shouldn't make 9X spandex pants. No.
Yeah, it's just
when
inviting.
Your spandex needs to have reinforced seams. You should probably not be making spandex that with that weight capacity. It's poor. The spandex is it's not fair to the spandex. It's just not fair.
I wholeheartedly agree. There it is from my boy Corey. What's up, buddy? I wholeheartedly agree.
But yeah, I have not seen these jeggings, and perhaps they did it this way because it's just a laws of physics kind of thing where the material just can't support that amount of load.
Well, I think it's women's responsibility to dress for their figure, and it's the sort of thing where, like, if you're a bigger girl and you've got big breasts and you want to show them off and have them pushed up a bit or have them hanging out a little bit, like, that's okay. But if you shouldn't wear pants that are super skinny jeans that are too tight and too small for you because that will be unflattering. It's a matter of playing up your assets.
Yes. Yes. Play
and
them
a lot of
up.
people don't know how to do that.
Yes. Amen to that, sister.
Well, right. And I would say the same thing for age. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And it's not trying to be ageist or, I just think you should dress appropriately, and you could dress appropriately and still be sexy and still be dressed up. But if you're 16, you shouldn't be dressing a certain way. And if you're 45, maybe you shouldn't be dressing a certain way if you're going out. But you need to just look the best that you can look.
And we lose the entire audience of cougars, Zeth. We just lost all of our cougars.
Damn.
You can still be a sexy cougar. You just still don't want it to be, you still want to look your best.
You just shouldn't be wearing clothes from Forever 21 or whatever that is.
Unless it's leopard print, then it's okay.
I was just about to say.
Oh my God!
Leopard print needs to be
We
banned.
need to go here. Thank you for bringing that one up. women, please do not, especially if you are a bigger girl, please do not wear the skin of animals. Leopard, zebra, cheetah.
Never okay.
Never okay. No, never okay, because it just makes
okay.
me want to hunt you. Is all. I will pull out a double-barrel shotgun and put you down, like I'm in the Serengeti. I'd have to. No choice.
I think that is the most hideous look you can wear. It's got to be worse than like. Oh, I can't even come up with an analogy of what a guy would have to wear to make it look that bad. I'm thinking like the old pit stain wife beater T-shirt with like dip drooling down it is how it looks on a woman when they wear leopard print.
Amen to that, brother. I do not go to bars to hunt for big game. That's all I'm saying.
Unless we're going to play buck hunter.
Right. Take that for what you will, ladies. I'm not hunting for big game. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah, because if I'm going to go big game hunting, I just take your mom, 2 cocks, and she's fully loaded.
Nice. Inappropriate.
Inappropriately awesome.
Inappropriate. Okay. What did we learn?
Do not wear any print that matches an animal, unless, of course, it's Halloween, because then it's fine. It's okay to dress provocatively.
And it's okay to look, but not to the point where it gets creepy. And there are indicators that you can follow, like the buttoning up of the shirt or the I'm going to call the police. Those are good indicators that you have now entered the creeper zone, and you should back away from the boobs, back away from the cleavage.
We just want to make sure that everyone is aware. We are not discouraging the showing of boobs and tits and breasticles and mammaries and things of that nature.
Yeah, right. By all means, please continue.
Please continue.
Yes.
Just make it more obvious for guys to know whether or not it's okay to stare.
Right. Yeah. A little sign might help, right?
Wink. Give us the little the nice grab the arm when stare when you stare at your boobs. You give them a little arm grab.
Right, or maybe like a necklace or something that says "Look here."
That's cute.
I like that when they do the little Y necklace.
Right, it's like an arrow pointing. Right, you might as well just have a blinking light on it saying, "Look at my fucking cleavage."
This is where my titties are.
Right.
I would actually say that in and of itself is a good, reasonable sign. If you've got a necklace on that's pointing down, you know where that is going to lead their eye. So then it's okay.
Right. Okay. Good tip. Good tip for all. If you have any other tips, any other little advice that you could give, it doesn't matter if you're a male or female, little things that you could help us out with. Why don't you go ahead and post them on the Facebook page, facebook.com/4listeners or 4listeners.com. If you're not staring at some cleavage and you have some time, you can go ahead and download us, set your subscriptions on the iTunes. Just search for 4Listeners and we'll pop right on up. I thought that this was incredibly educational today, Zeth. I don't know about you.
This may be our most educational program yet.
Yes. And we have Morgan to thank for it. Morgan, thank you very much for your contributions.
You're very welcome.
I am enlightened, and I will endeavor to not be nearly as much of a pig. This is going to be difficult, but I will use these teachings wisely. We hope that you will use these teachings wisely, and we hope that you will check us out again next week. Thanks a bunch, everybody.